I am going to teach you exactly how to do your makeup for every day. The very first thing that we have to do is prep our skin. Now, depending on if your skin is oily or dry, you're going to use two different prep methods. My skin is dry, so I always have to use a lot of moisturizer. You can use something like a really intense hydrating serum. You can use the D'Alba for serum spray. This one is Forget the Filler from Lash. It's very hydrating. It's like a moisturizer. Now, if you are really oily, you want to go in with something that is matte. So you want a mattifying primer. I can't put that on my skin because I'm really dry, so it would make me look horrible. My eyes are also really dry, so I'm going to go in with the Beauty of Joseon. This is the Eye Revive Serum. I'm adding this to the bottom and the tops of my eyes. This is the Forget the Filler from Lash, and you can see how it looks like moisturizer. So I'm going to put this all over my face. And it's really important to let this really soak into your skin before you go in with foundation. I find some people will put their skin prep on and then put their foundation right on top, and just not gonna work. I'm putting extra of this on. We're gonna let this soak in for about 3 minutes. Right over top of that moisturizer, I'm gonna go in with my D'Alba for serum spray because I need extra hydration. Just spraying this all over my face. Now, the same as your skin prep, you want to make sure you're using the right foundation for your skin. If I was to use a mattifying foundation, my skin would look absolutely horrible. I need something that's luminous, has a lot of hydration in the foundation, so I'll show you a few of my favorites. I've showed this a few times. This is the Victoria Beckham foundation drops. They're very expensive, but it's honestly the best foundation I've ever used in my life. And you don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way, but obviously this is for if you're more bougie. This is the Lumi foundation from L'Oreal. I absolutely love this. I have a spray tan right now, so I think I'm gonna use this today. It has luminosity, hydration, and when you put it on, it's gonna almost have a radiance booster inside of it, so it's gonna make your skin look really glowy. I love the Ordinary Serum Foundation as well. It's only like $7. You can get it on their website. I use this one constantly. It's more sheer, but you can definitely build it up. So now that my skin prep is all settled into my skin is slimy. So we want slimy skin before we put on foundation if you're dry. If you're not dry, you don't want this. So making sure that we still have that hydration. If I was to touch my skin right now and it was bone dry, I would go in with a second step of skin prep. First, before we put on our foundation, we need to talk about foundation brushes. So this is my favorite foundation brush. You want something that's on an angle and is short and dense. Nothing too big either. So this one's a little bit smaller. I do recommend the 101 from BK Beauty as well. This one's the 109, but I really love the 109 because it is a bit smaller and you can tuck it in to any areas that you need. Now I'm gonna do my foundation first. So I'm gonna just pump some of this onto my brush. I did 3 pumps. If I need more, I can just add more. Now here's the thing. With this foundation, we can get really full coverage or we can get light coverage. It all depends on how you're using your brush. If I want light coverage, I'm gonna add some pressure onto that brush. If I don't want light coverage, I'm gonna loosen up my pressure. It goes with everything that you're doing, even your concealer. If you have dark under eyes, you wanna use light pressure to cover it up. And the same would go for if you have any pimples. If you put a lot of pressure on it, it's just gonna take the product off. So we can do a little bit of a combo. I have a spray tan, so I'm matching this up to my chest and my arms. So I'm doing a little bit of pressure, but not too much. And if I feel like I need some more coverage, say on my cheeks, I'm gonna tap this into the skin. So you can do a combo. Bringing this on my top lip, all around my lips. Sometimes I put it right over top of my lips, and then I'll go over with my lip liner right over top of that, and then all the way up into the hairline. Don't put your foundation in around your eyes. Foundation is technically not supposed to go around your eyes. So we want to just have concealer there. So you can see I'm just adding a little bit of pressure and swiping. Bring this down the neck a bit. When I'm going down my neck, I'm adding a little bit more pressure. You're gonna look a little bit crazy at this point, but we've got many more layers to go. Now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. So let's talk about concealers, because I like to use a color corrector. This is the Charlotte Tilbury color corrector in the shade 1 Fair. It's got a little bit of an orange undertone, but it's not really orange. If you have dark circles and you use something that's too light, which a lot of people will go for something light when they have dark circles, it can make it look gray. But if you use something that has a peach undertone, it's gonna conceal that darkness. So I'm taking, this is the Huda Beauty Under Eye Buff Brush, and I'm taking it right into that Charlotte Tilbury color corrector, and I'm gonna start tapping. Now remember, the more pressure that I put on this brush, the less coverage I'm gonna get. So if I have really dark circles, which I do, and I was to push and really be aggressive underneath my eye, I'm not gonna get any coverage. So it's light little taps. And you can see how well this covers my redness and the color because I don't have it on the top. And under my eye now looks really nice and bright. I'm gonna dip in and I'm gonna put some on the top of my eye. This is also going into the tear duct. See how well that covers? Okay, so we have our concealer on. We're done with that. Now we have to set this. So if you weren't setting your makeup, what are you even doing with your life? Because really, your makeup's not going to stay on unless you use setting powder. There are a few different setting powders that I use. This one's the Fenty Beauty one in Strawberry Milk. It's basically white, but I think it's supposed to have a little bit of a kind of pink undertone, but to me it just looks white. So I'm going to take a little fluffy brush, just like this, and I'm going to tap. Now with the setting powder, we want to add some pressure. So we don't want to just fluff on top. No, we really want to push this into the skin, really pushing that so we're setting it really well. And I'm also going to take this under the eye. Now we're going to set the rest of our face when we're done, but I like to set the eyes as soon as I do it. Now this is the point that I get into the brows. This is the color Taupe from Urban Decay. I've been using this brow pencil forever, at least a year and a half, same pencil. And you're going to do little hair strokes. Now you want your brows to start right here and end about right here at the end of your eye. You don't want to get your brows too big, so I'm doing little tiny flicks. I have microblading, so I kind of know where to go. It's given me a roadmap, which is really nice. Highly recommend. But it's gotten quite a bit ashy. You can see how warm this is compared to the rest. So I'm just going right over top of that. And I'm doing little flicks, so I'm not coloring them in really dark. Same with at the beginning of your brow, you don't want to get that too dark. All done, both brows. Now I'm going to move into bronzing, contouring. For me, it's the same thing because I use bronzer to contour. It's a really light contour and it looks very natural. We don't want to get into those big lines. We're kind of just giving the face some dimension and some warmth. Now again, when you're using this, it's nice to have something that's on a little bit of an angle and nothing too big. So this is the Rimmel. This is the shade Sundance. Love this bronzer. So I'm going to tap in and I'm going to go about midway down the face and up towards the top of the ear. So on an angle like that. And I'm going to start tapping. You don't want to get in there and scrub because we have the foundation underneath. We want to tap. And when you hit the face, this is why they call it beating the face, because you're beating it into the skin. You can be rough in this way and really pushing it in and blending it out, but not this way. So we've got it right here. And do you see how much color and warmth that gives me? It's really pretty. It makes you look really healthy and alive. Then we're going down the temple. I even like to bring it right up onto my cheeks. Give me some life. So same with over here. I'm picking up a little, tapping it in. Picking up a little, tapping it in. So don't get too much on there. And see how it's coming upwards. Now we're going down the sides of the face. Put a little bit on our jawline. We don't want to stripe because that's going to look weird in person. So I just buff a little bit there. And then right up into the forehead and over top of that eyebrow. So we're not just making a little circle on the top of our forehead, which a lot of people do. We're going right up into that hairline and then down over top of the brow and down on the temple. Because I have a spray tan, I like to add a little bit into my part so it's not crazy white. So people think this is all natural. Now, even though we're doing natural makeup, I like to do a nose contour. So this is the Patrick Ta blush. It's just called nose contour. It's got a little fan on one side and then a fluffy part on the other side. So I'm going to pick this up on the fan side, a little bit of that bronzer. I'm going to start right underneath my eyebrow and draw a line right down the end to the end of my nose, just like that, really soft. And then same with this side. A little bit at the end So you see how that's just giving us a natural dimension where before it was just flat. I'm turning over the fluffy side, picking up some bronzer, and I'm just gonna fluff it over top with a little bit of pressure so that I can blend it out. Now with this side, again, see how we're using this all over the face? I'm gonna dip in and I'm gonna put this in my crease all the way across. So right from that inner corner to all the way across. So we're ending about right here. And you wanna bring this up higher, very high, almost up into your brows. This is what's gonna open up your eye. So if you have a hood, go up over top of the hood. And we're just gonna keep this eyeshadow really simple and modern. That's pretty much the eyeshadow. We're gonna add a little bit of brown, chocolate brown eyeliner, but this is it for bronzing. I always, always, always curl my lashes. This is the Shiseido, one of my favorite lash curlers. And I do think it matters. I would invest in one that's really good because they do a good job. So I'm gonna go in right to the base, pinch, hold that pinch, and start to pump. And sometimes I do this twice. Never put on mascara without curling your lashes. So I'm pinching and pumping. And you're gonna find after you curl your lashes, you can pretty much use any mascara and it's gonna look amazing. So I'm gonna use the Sky High from Maybelline. And what I do is I do spend some time on my lashes. Because everything is really simple, I like to have the lashes kind of pop. So I'm gonna take this and go right at the tips of my lashes. And then that I have the color on there, I'm gonna go from the base and wiggle all the way up. My tips are really blonde, so make sure you're coating those with the black mascara. This is the Catrice blush in Midnight Berry. I also have the color on Cloud Pink. These blushes are absolutely incredible. I'm only using the darker one because I do have a tan right now, or usually I would use on Cloud Pink. Absolutely beautiful. Wait until I show you. This is the Refi brush in 05, so I'm gonna dip in just a bit. I like to fill up the apple of my cheek. And again, we're not gonna scrub, we're just tapping and bringing it up towards the temple. Right on the apple of the cheek. You see how that's lighting up and up. A little bit underneath the eye so that it's going all the way this way. So I'm tapping in. Now this is a baked blush, which I love. The baked formulas, even for bronzer, are really beautiful. They sit like butter on your skin. I'm going over my nose a little bit. So from here all the way up. Now tell me this isn't the prettiest blush ever. I'm gonna show you something really expensive, but every time I wear it, I get a ton of compliments on my cheeks. This is Celestial Sparks number 17. It's an illuminizer, Clé de Peau. It's expensive, but you get a lot of product, kind of. And you don't need a lot. So I'm gonna take this little brush. I'll show you why it's worth it, you'll see. I don't have anything else like this. Look at how pretty that looks over top of that blush. You can actually bring this all the way up onto the eyes and then wrap it around onto the apple of the cheek. So then when you smile, it really lights up. So I'm just dipping in a little bit, putting this. I don't think we need to spend money on everything unless you want to. There's some things that you can spend money on that are gonna make a difference. I would spend your money on this. I also take a little bit at the tip of my nose. So look at those cheeks. Also, we didn't spend a lot on the foundation or the blush, so it's girl math. We're gonna add a little bit of chocolate brown eyeliner to the top of our eye. This is the Makeup by Mario in Perfect Brown. You could use any eyeliner that you want, and I'm just gonna go really close to that lash line and just little taps. So we're not drawing the line all in one swoop. We're just taking our time and doing little taps, and we're going all the way across. Just adds a little bit more dimension to your eye. You definitely don't have to put on eyeliner. It's totally up to you. You can skip this if you're in a rush in the morning, but I do like a chocolate brown eyeliner. We're gonna pick up that Fenty bronzer again, and we're gonna start setting our face. And remember, this is something that not a lot of people do. Smaller brush, and we're gonna tap this into the T-zone. So this one you are using pressure, and you're pushing into the T-zone. So we're leaving this highlight, but we're mattifying pretty much everything else. I don't go over top of the bronzer or the blush with my setting powder. Now we also don't need to use an expensive lip. Of course, there's lots of beautiful lipsticks out there that are expensive, but we can definitely do this budget friendly. This is the e.l.f. lip liner in Mauve Aside. I'm gonna line my lips with this, and I'm barely touching this to my skin. I'm not going into the corners of my lips. I'm ending about right here. I'm gonna line my lips and then I'm gonna use some lip gloss right over top. You can see I didn't go into the corners and I drew a light line all the way around. I'm gonna use the Maybelline lip gloss in Petal. Go right over top. So it gives us a little tiny pop of color. Still blends in with the cheek. It's that kind of mauvey color, which is really nice for winter. I'm gonna go over it with a little bit of setting spray. This one's a mist, so it's gonna keep your makeup on really, really well. I'm actually gonna go in with the D'Alba just to melt down those powders a little bit. So I'm gonna spray this first. I did use a lot of setting powder, so this is kind of gonna bring it back to life. Letting this dry down, and then I'm going in with the L'Oreal setting spray. You do not need a lot of this. It's just a little like this. So this is the finished look. If you do your makeup like this, even though it's really simple, it is timeless and elegant, and you're gonna get a ton of compliments on this makeup.